So in this video, I'm going to discuss the symptoms I had when I had mumps. I'm going to discuss how your vaccine could easily wear off and not protect you. And at the end of the video, we're going to discuss how across America right now, people are realizing that they can hold politicians accountable when you can connect an injury or an illness to an illegal alien. You're not going to want to turn this off. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Starkey Farmstead. So today's video is titled My Experience with Mumps. So starting Thanksgiving evening or early Friday morning on Black Friday, I began to vomit. And the headache that I had was undescribable. Like I'd never had anything quite like that headache. And I remember laying in bed and I had this thought, I don't want to die. Now I know, sounds so over the top, Sam, but my fever was extremely high. I felt extremely bad. I'd never felt like that in my life. And it just wouldn't quit. I couldn't sit up. I didn't want to sit up. My husband takes me to the nearest big emergency room that can run blood work. They test me for COVID, pneumonia, flu. And they do a head CAT scan because my headache was that bad. They didn't look in my mouth. They didn't look in my ear. In fact, she never turned the light on in the exam room because I couldn't deal with the light. All that was ruled out. They send me home and tell me to rest. Monday morning rolls around, and this entire from here to here was swollen, red, and inside of my mouth on the gum line, it looked like ulcers, but it was not ulcers. So I go to the dentist because I'm in so much pain. My ear, my face, I couldn't touch the skin on my face. It hurt to swallow and my head hurt, and I'm still running fever. So I go to the dentist and she's like, whoa, never seen anything like this in my life. I don't know what this is. I mean, it could be infection. So we run the x-ray. She's like, there's no infection, no bone spurs, no anything to be causing those sores that are popping up on your gums. And it's just on this side, stops right at the midline. And I'm like, something's wrong. So she sends me home on penicillin. Headache, earache, hurts to swallow, face swollen, red. It was, I just felt my whole body hurt. So proceed to today is, what is today? Wednesday? No, today's Thursday. Wednesday I go back to the dentist for a checkup, and the swelling had gone down, but there's still a bit of swelling here that you can see. The swelling and had gone down a bit. The face wasn't as red, and she cauterized all those sores because we didn't know what they were. And she's like, if they're ulcers, this will force them to go ahead and heal up. And I'm like, okay. Wednesday night, the headache comes back. The fever comes back. The nausea comes back. I'm like, I'm done. I'm done hurting like this. Go to a trauma 2 hospital. If you know anything about hospitals in South Louisiana, we have trauma 1, trauma 2. So, you know, you want a good level trauma because they can do everything. And the doctor walked in, he said, I've never seen anything like this. Again, we go through the whole rigmarole. The good news is my white blood cell count had gone down drastically from Friday to Wednesday. In that 5.5 day period, my white blood cell count had bounced back and gone down closer to normal. But he said, I'm testing you for everything under the sun. My dentist had never seen anybody with mumps, and neither had this ER doctor. That is why I'm making this video. Nobody had a clue. I would have never considered mumps, but one of you amazing people put in comments, Sam, I think you need to think about mumps. And I'm thinking, mumps? What is mumps? Like, I had the MMR when I was a kid. Like, I cannot get mumps. Ooh, guess what? The older you get, the less likely your vaccines are going to work. Now, the upsetting thing is mumps had basically been eradicated in the United States, like Europe and other first world countries, 40 years ago, 30 years ago, you guys. I mean, there were a few cases every year here and there, but those are usually connected to people coming into our country or when people leave our country and then come back. Okay, so I made a video about 4 weeks ago now when I went to the Pacific Northwest and I flew on United Airlines, and I said I will never fly United again. There were too many illegal aliens on my flight, too many sick people coughing, babies crying, like you could tell they were sick. And here I am with mumps. And thank you, God, I have a good immune system. I grow clean organic food. I get plenty of sunshine. And I treat my body kindly. And people have prayed for me, and I've prayed over myself. And I believe that by his stripes I am healed. Okay? You guys, this is not okay. It is not okay. I have an 81-year-old mother and an 83-year-old father who were supposed to come and visit me today because they're worried. Their baby girl's been sick now for a week. And I had to call them this morning and say, hey guys, you need to hold off to at least this weekend. Because I would never want to put my parents in danger. But what if they got this? Guys, I was really, really sick. And the reason I'm making this video is because I want you to understand that if you come down with some crazy illness, it may be diseases that doctors have not seen in their entirety of medical school on. They've read about them, but they've never seen them. So how did I get mumps? Now, see, I can't prove that I got mumps from an illegal alien. I can't prove it, right? It's not like the government's going to give me the information on the people that were illegally in this country flying on that United Airlines flight with me. And they wouldn't tell me if any of them were sick to begin with, because that's just not how they roll. But I found a video the other day, and I want you guys to watch this because this is something we all need to know. You can find the entire video on Law of Self-Defense channel. This guy is talking about how politicians are soon to be held accountable when an illegal alien commits murder, bodily harm, causes illnesses, or anything else in the United States because they are harboring fugitives. So all these sanctuary state politicians, you are seeing them starting to kind of, oh, we're not going to let the government come in and take them. But if anybody in those cities understood this, if you're living in a sanctuary city and your politicians are breaking federal law by harboring illegal aliens and refusing to turn them over, especially once Trump's president, okay, and your family member's killed or maimed or injured, or you become ill and you can prove that it was an illegal alien, you can draw lawsuits up against them. And that politician could go to prison for their entire life and or lose their life. Yeah, so I want you to watch this clip. I want you to go look up the full-length video of this. Like, comment, spread. Please bring awareness to this. This, I think, is what makes me so frustrated about mainstream media is they don't tell us. They go, look left, and we should all very much be looking right. And, I just think everybody needs to be aware of this. I think everybody needs to make sure you've got your elderberry syrups. I did all that stuff, you guys. I had all that. Oh, there comes the mailman. I had all that healthy, organic, herbal stuff here, and I tried a little bit all of it. Maybe that's why I'm feeling so much better all of a sudden. Who knows? But I love you guys. Watch this last clip. It's super important that we are all aware of our rights in this day and time, and we start holding our elected officials accountable.
Are exposing themselves is the possibility of capital punishment, quite literally a firing squad. Homan mentioned 8 U.S.C. 1324 in his ex post, so let's take a closer look at that provision of federal law. The harboring of illegal immigrants is a federal felony under 8 U.S.C. 1324. Similarly, being an accessory to this crime or conspiring to commit this crime is effectively not legally any different from committing the crime itself and carries the same penalty. And what is the penalty prescribed by 1324 for harboring illegal aliens? Well, as part of our commitment to the law of self-defense community, we base what we teach on actual law. So let's go ahead and take a look at the actual federal law. First, let's take a look at the conduct that makes one subject to the penalties of 8 U.S.C. 1324. The first is alien smuggling. That is, bringing an illegal migrant into the United States other than through a port of entry and lawfully. The second type of conduct is domestic transporting. Once that illegal migrant is in the U.S., transporting or moving them around the U.S. The third form of conduct is harboring. That is, harboring or sheltering, concealing an illegal migrant from law enforcement. The fourth kind of conduct is encouraging or inducing someone to illegally enter the United States. And this all applies to not just doing those things, but also engaging in any conspiracy to commit any of those acts or to aid or abet the commission of any of those acts. And what's the punishment for having committed any of those forms of illegal migrant conduct? Well, it is described in the next paragraph of 1324. A person who is engaged in alien smuggling, that is, bringing an illegal migrant into the country for purposes of commercial advantage or private financial gain, can be imprisoned for up to 10 years. If they smuggle them in not for personal gain, well, they can still be imprisoned for up to 5 years. In the case of any form of conduct in which that illegal migrant, and this includes the harboring conduct, in which that illegal migrant causes serious bodily injury to someone or places them in jeopardy of serious bodily injury, well, then the sentence goes up to 20 years. And if somebody engages in harboring, sheltering of an illegal migrant who causes the death of an American citizen, that's punishable by death or imprisonment for any term of years, including life in prison.